Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry in the town of Annapolis, Royal, Nova Scotia, Canada. And there's a couple places here I want to show you, both of which is just one block apart from each other. First is the Fort Anne, which was used way back in the day to defend against marauders and the enemy. And the other is what they call a historic garden. A 17-acre garden of plants and flowers and really nice looking place. So come along with me. Let's see what it looks like. This is the officers' quarters, which looks like it has a moat around it. And this sign says that it was one of the most fought over forts in Canada. And this shows how the cannons were originally positioned. Looks like a lot of bedrooms up there on the second floor. The officers' quarters were built in 1797, and the building here was restored in the 1930s. Let's take a look inside the building. Well, inside is a lot of reading on the walls. Some history on the area here. It's kind of a small room. And here's a 3D of the fort. Oh, it actually does have a moat all the way around it. Nice. I'd like to have a castle with a moat around it. And a key this big. Well, there's a lot of small rooms, and it would take you a long time to read all this, which I am not going to do. And apparently that is Anne herself. These are some excellent tapestries. No, it turns out this is Queen Victoria, and this is Queen Anne. And this is the community of Port Royal. Well, if this is the way the building originally was, then there's no big rooms for big meetings. Just a whole lot of small rooms. And there's a good question. Looks like the facilities outdoors here have been very well maintained. How do you like this guy's hairdo? That is Pierre Dubois de Mans. This looks like sort of a pier. Some people out there, and let's look across the bay. Got some homes there. This shows about the name of the place here. Yeah, it's a fairly good sized bay. This is the Annapolis River that comes into the bay under this bridge. That goes out into the Bay of Fundy and then the Atlantic Ocean. I think this is interesting, seeing a moat without water in it, and instead such a fine green lawn. I always like to be the person in charge of cutting the grass here. That looks like a hard job with all those hills. Like it says here, this would be a very good place in the flatter areas at least to plant products. Well, it looks like this is the only water in the moat. I suspect they fed seawater into it way back when. You also have a cemetery here on the grounds. I wonder how old these are. Well, they're old enough that the inscriptions are just totally worn down to where you can't read them. I saw a couple of them where it showed the date 1880, but look how this just wears out over the years, over the centuries. Now these two are not bad. It says 1883 and 1861. The mold, or whatever it is, collects inside those letter indentions. This one I can barely make out, 1865, right there. Henderson. And look at these flat ones here. It's a really pretty good large size graveyard. It says there's over 2,000 graves here. Well, this is an interesting place. Now the gardens is just 1 block away. So let's go take a look at that. It's called the Annapolis Royal Historic Gardens, which has 17 acres of paradise. Here's a map of the 17 acres of paradise. Well, first, here is a very colorful rose garden. The paths around the garden are gravel like this, and certainly the majority of the place is just greenery. Here they've got some really nice blue purple flowers and other colors. All sorts of colorful plants here. And several buildings around like this. Got a fairly simple fountain here. This is a really nice round garden with a really big bush in the middle. I like these pyramid bushes. And here they have a cafe for people who want to stay here all day and have lunch. Nice ambiance. Here's some pretty flowers. They've got a lily pond here. And off to the left, this tree with the pink on it. I'm no expert, but I'm guessing that's a cherry blossom tree. And what kind of house could this be? Well, it doesn't look very welcoming with the chains on the doors, but you can see inside. Gardener's quarters, I guess. And considering how old it is, I'm guessing that the point of this garden back then was not flowers. Yeah, I bet they all grew plants that you could eat. This is the other side of the building with the flow-through doors. We have a garden shop. Well, folks, I think I've shown you probably most of it. Doesn't quite seem like 17 acres. It's RV Vagabond Jerry. RV Vagabond Jerry. And if you're really into gardens, you might find the $16 admission to be just right. Good day, folks.